Have you ever seen a white-tailed deer who has developed a large growth or tumor? I'm Taylor Drury, and this is another Throwback Thursday edition of DoD TV.
This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Uncle Terry has logged more time in the timber than anyone I know by a long shot. Back in the early 90s, Dad and Uncle Terry set off to produce the second movie of its kind titled Monster Bucks 2. Let's follow along with Terry as he attempts to arrow a giant wooded warrior.
little buck and a nice encounter on a beautiful, cold, crisp morning here. It's November 1st, and you may wonder why we would pass a nice little buck like that. Well, we've seen several big bucks in this area, and a deer just as that one is as apt to be a Boone and Crockett or a real nice Pope and Young next year. He could be borderline Pope and Young. It'll be a real nice buck. So we're just gonna pray and hope that we, on this crisp, cool morning, have some good luck. I don't know if we will, but we're sure gonna try.
You know, there's an opportunity that a lot of bow hunters would probably die for, but Abby he was one of those bucks that was so aggressive he would respond to the rattling, seemed like every time. And I had 2 or 3 different encounters with the same deer and elected to pass him each and every time. But on the last particular morning that I had this final encounter with him, within 15 minutes after Abby had went away, here come a large, mature buck that I just knew I was going to get a shot at. Meh.
Stopped him right behind that tree. I just couldn't get a shot at him, and I didn't want to mess him up. He's a good buck, real good buck. I tried to stop him, and I stopped him right behind a tree. It was my fault. I should have waited just one more second, and I'd have had him. Damn. He's a good deer. Real good buck. Wasn't 15 or 20 minutes ago is when I rattled that small buck in, and I elected to pass him. Well, there's proof positive of what kind of bucks we've got in this area. and that's why I passed the small one. But that buck should be on the ground right now. He circled all the way around us. He was trying to get downwind. I just did another rattling sequence. And I waited until he got to where I could get a good shot. There were some limbs in my way here, so I didn't get a shot. And he got out a little bit further, but he was quartering away perfect. And I stopped him. I just stopped him right behind that tree. What can you say?
You know, I wasn't able to harvest that particular deer, but I must admit that when you get a deer of that caliber within bow range, I think you won half the battle. Well, I didn't give up, and I went to one of our favorite spots. It was a tree that Mark had harvested a deer out of on monster bucks, as a matter of fact. And it was one of those hunts that happened pretty quickly. I had climbed up in the tree, and within a matter of 15 or 20 minutes, because it was a spot that we hadn't hunted, we had left it alone for quite a while, and we knew it was a pretty good tree stand, or a good crossing where deer like to go through there a lot. So we'd stayed out of this particular area. And I hadn't been in the tree maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I saw a nice mature buck dogging a doe, and here, lo and behold, he was coming right into my shooting lane. And that's exactly what you want. You live for that. And after harvesting that deer, I was excited, and I just knew that I had harvested one of the nicest deers that I'd probably ever take with a bow.
Yes, this thing is incredible. I'll tell you what, that buck stopper did the trick again. I had to blow it once, and I tried to stop him in my lane right here, but he was so intent on that doe, and I don't know if you could see, but he was chasing her around right here in a circle. And I blew it, and I don't know that he heard me. He was so intent on her, following her, that I had to blow it again. He went through my lane, and I had to go over the fork in his tree just a little bit. And I might have put the shot a little bit far forward, but it looks like it got into the vitals. He looks like he's hurt pretty bad. But this thing is incredible. Did the job. I think we'll have luck and find him. this deer is bleeding profusely out both sides. But he's already come a pretty good distance from my stand. I've waited about 2 or 3 hours before I began the tracking sequence. And he's already came a pretty good distance. And the hardest thing for a bow hunter to do is to give up tracking a deer like this one when you know that he's bleeding real well and you've got a pretty good trail. He tried to cross this open pasture, but evidently he didn't. I found his trail where he went back into the timber. So I think rather than push him, I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And believe me, it's hard to do. I really would prefer to continue on the track. But I know that he's come too far to be a double lung, so the chances are it's probably a single lung hit. And I'm just going to back out, pick the track back up tomorrow morning into the timber and continue on. I just don't want to jump him up out of his bed. I think wherever he lays down, he'll expire. Boy, he's bleeding good right here. Man. Get the leaves all kicked up. Blood. Blood. There you go. Nice, nice. Oh boy. Wow. What a perfect 8-pointer, man, oh man. Beautiful. Nice. All right. What a perfect little 8-pointer. Good gosh. That is a nice buck. Real nice. Gorgeous. Man, you couldn't ask for a prettier rack than that. Wow. I'll tell you what, I'm pumped right now. What a good feeling to harvest a bow kill like this. He is just a gorgeous 8-pointer, just shy of Pope and Young. It's a nice deer. It's a real nice deer for a bow kill. He's gorgeous. But I'll tell you, I think part of the key to our success was coming into an area that we knew was good. We waited till the wind was right. There are crop fields on both sides of a timbered ridge. And we waited till the wind was right. The weather had been extremely warm through the first part of November, and all of a sudden the temperatures had started to drop, and the rut wasn't really kicking in like we thought it should. You know, the 1st through the 3rd through the 5th, we weren't seeing much activity, and all of a sudden, man, when the weather broke, it just like turned a light switch on. Everything started moving. We started seeing some deer activity, and when you go into a spot like that, when the timing's right, you come out on top.
Ever wonder what goes on inside the brain of a whitetail buck that gets him up and on the move? Well, we've cracked that code and are delivering it to you in the DeerCast app, a revolution in deer movement forecasting. Available now for iOS and Android. Get ahead of your game with DeerCast.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Mossy Oak.